Hi, good afternoon, Swati. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm good. How are you?
We are good, we are good. Okay, so Swati, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sir, as you know, my name is Swati Bhargava. I belong to Raghugar, Madhya Pradesh. My father's name is Mr. Ajay Kumar Bhargav. He is a practicing advocate in Raghugar. My mother's name is Srimati Rachna Bhargav. She is a government school teacher. I have completed my education from Sri Satya Sai Vidya Vihar Gale, and I have done my graduation from Hidayatullah National Law University, Raipur. And it was completed in year 2020. After that, I have done my LLM from Renaissance University, Indore, and I have completed my LLM in Constitutional Law in the year 2022. Right now, I'm working in Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India as a young professional.
Okay. So Swati, you have done your LLM from Renaissance University, Indore, and it is in constitutional law. What was the topic of your dissertation?
Sir, the topic was constitutional validity of death penalty.
Constitutional
It was with
validity.
reference to the recent application filed by Project 39A.
Okay. Okay. Constitutional validity of death penalty. Fair enough. So, as you told Swati, your father is a practicing advocate.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So he is. What is his area of expertise?
So he mainly practices in civil law, but we have a chamber, so he takes all kinds of cases.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
My uncle is also a lawyer. He takes criminal cases.
Okay. And they both practice in Raghavgarh only, in MP
Yes, sir.
only. Okay. Okay. So, don't you think this will be a problem if you become a judge in Madhya Pradesh? Someday your father or your uncle or somebody from their chambers will be present in your court and then you'll be obliged to pass a judgment in their favor. Don't you think you'll be a little biased towards them?
Sir, I don't think it will be a problem because if there will be any conflict of interest, I can recuse from that case and will not hear that case. Even though I'll not be biased if I hear that also, but justice should also be seen to be done, not only to be done. So I will recuse from that case.
Okay, okay. And since you have done your LLM, did academia never influenced you? Were you not interested in academia at all?
No, sir. I have done my LLM so that when I was preparing for judiciary, I can meanwhile also enhance my skills and get some other educational qualifications also.
Okay. For getting certain other educational qualifications, you wanted to do that. It
Yes.
had nothing to do with getting certain incentives in the judiciary after you get selected.
Sir, it was regarding incentives also, but the incentives of honing my research skills also, apart from the monetary incentive.
Okay, okay,
Be-
okay,
because I believe the more you research, the more your brain functions.
okay. What are your hobbies as such, Swati?
So, cooking.
Cooking. So you like to cook. That's okay.
Yes, sir.
This is one thing. And okay, so you did not choose teaching. Why not join the chambers of your father and your uncle?
Yes, sir. So that was always an option if I couldn't crack judiciary. But I wanted to be independent. And if I join my father's chamber, it will be more like dependent upon him and not making my own mark. So that's why I've opted for this job at IRDA for a meanwhile, and then I'm preparing for judiciary.
Okay. Anything famous about Raghavgarh which you are aware about?
Yes, sir. So the politician of Congress, Digvijay Singh, belongs to Raghugarh. So there is a fort in which ancestors of Shri Digvijay Singh were a king. And then there are two plants also. One is Gas Authority of India Limited. The HVJ pipeline process that. And the another one is National Fertilizer Limited.
Okay, okay, okay. Digvijay Singh ji was the chief minister of MP, yes?
Yes, sir.
For how many terms?
Sir, 2 terms.
For 2 terms. Are you sure for 2 terms or 3 terms?
Sir, 2 terms.
Okay, 2 terms. Fair enough. Now, coming back to your knowledge of the subjects, Swati, which are the subjects that interest you the most out of all the 12 subjects that we have here in MPCJ? Which is the subject that you like the most?
Sir, I've read all the subjects. Um, I like contracts law and constitutional law out of them.
Okay, so
However, I have studied all the subjects.
okay, so your area of interest is law of contracts and Constitution of India. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So coming to the law of contracts, where do you actually find a pledge under the Indian Contracts Act?
So the concept of pledge uh, deals with when a person gives his property to some other person for as a security, then that's called a pledge. If sir, do not remember the section number exactly.
Okay. What exactly is the difference between pledge and hypothecation?
So when the pledge is there, there's a movable property involved, and when there is a hypothecation, then there is charge that is created on the property.
Okay, so in hypothecation, the property is movable or immovable?
So in hypothecation, the property is immovable.
Are you sure the hypothecation is on an immovable property?
So sorry, sir, I'm not sure about it.
Okay. What kind of a charge is developed on a car if you take a car loan and you buy a car? What is that kind of a charge? Matlab, is it mortgage? Is it pledge? Is it hypothecation or any some other kind of charge? Let's say you buy a car on a loan, आप जज बनेंगी तो मजिस्ट्रेट के पास एक गाड़ी होनी चाहिए, तो आपने गाड़ी ली, क्योंकि सैलरी है तो आपके पास आप लोन ले सकती हैं, ईएमआई पे आपने एक कार खरीदी, ठीक, अब आपने वो कार खरीदी है, लोन पे ली है, तो अभी वो हाइपोथिकेशन में आएगी, प्लेज में आएगी कि मॉर्गेज में आएगी?
So it will come under hypothecation.
पर कार तो मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी.
But it can be both when
Okay, okay. When we talk about Indian Contract Act में consideration की definition कहाँ पे provided है?
Sir, Section 2D of Indian Contract Act has defined consideration. Whenever a promiser has abstained from doing something, or promises to abstain from doing something, or does abstain from doing something, or does anything on the basis of a promise of the promisee, that is called consideration.
Okay, so it is the promise of the promisee.
Or any other person on his behalf.
Okay, so okay, and the desire is that of?
Desire of the promiser.
Okay, perfect. Can agreements even stand without a consideration? Can they still be valid?
So, Section 25 of Indian Contract Act states that a contract without consideration is void. However, it has provided three exceptions to that, under which if a person out of natural love and affection by a written and registered agreement transfers something or enters into a contract without consideration, that will be valid. Another one is if there is some time barred debt and the other person has undertaken uh, in writing and signed by him that he'll repay the loan, that will be valid. And the third one is so if something has been done in past consideration, that will also be valid.
Okay, so there are three types of consideration which we can understand out of this, that past, present, and future. Fair enough. What
Yes.
is the concept of indemnity as is provided in Indian Contract Act?
So, Section 124 of Indian Contract Act deals with the contracts of indemnity. When one person promises to make good of the losses to another person, that is called the contract of indemnity.
Okay. What is the difference between indemnity and what you specialize in your job, insurance?
So, insurance are also a kind of indemnity contracts only. However, the life insurance is a contingent contract
Okay.
and not the indemnity contract. Because when a person dies, whole of the losses cannot be ascertained in monetarily terms.
Okay. What are quasi-contractual obligations?
So the concept of quasi-contract cases has been given under Section 68 to 72 of the Indian Contract Act. So when the contracts are not actually entered like a contract, but the agreement between the parties or the transaction between the parties is of a such a nature that obligations of contracts arises from that, then these are called the quasi contracts. For
Okay.
example, Section 68 of Indian Contract Act, when somebody has done anything for the benefit of the minor, so that person is entitled to claim back the expenses from the estate of the minor.
Okay. Okay. What is the doctrine of frustration?
So, Section 56 of Indian Contract Act deals with the doctrine of frustration. According to it, when a contract has been entered between the parties and simultaneously, if any situation arises, not simultaneously, if any situation arises under which that contract cannot be performed, then that contract is said to be frustrated and then the contract cannot be enforced.
Okay. Okay. Can you please recite for me the preamble of India, the preamble of the Indian Constitution?
So, I am not sure if I remember it correctly, but if you permit, I may try so.
Yes, please.
So, we, the people of India, hereby solemnly give ourselves this Constitution of India as to hereby enact this Constitution of India to ourselves to give ourselves a socialist, secular, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to give to its citizens liberty, freedom, liberty of speech and expression, freedom of speech and expression, liberty, fraternity. So I remember, I can't recall it word to
Okay.
word.
Okay. Okay.
Really sorry,
What
sir.
what exactly is the concept of equality under Indian Constitution?
So Article 14 of the Indian Constitution deals with the right to equality that has been guaranteed as a fundamental right. Uh, However, when we talk about equality under Indian Constitution, it is not just treating everybody as equal, but the concept of equality is based upon equity. So it treats with equality those who are placed at an equal footing and unequals are not treated equally.
Okay. Okay. When we look at the Indian Constitution, where do you find morality under the Constitution of India?
So, to be precise, morality is not mentioned anywhere, if I'm not wrong, in the Constitution, but the principles on which the Constitution is based. So, we get that principles from its preamble. For example, we intend to make India a socialist nation in which the resource gap between the people should be lowered, and the directive principles of state policy when they talk about equal pay, equal wage, when they talk about uh, uniform civil code, and when they talk about forming of associations and the certain rights which are present in the constitution, they reflect an idea of morality.
Okay. So let's say there is a person, there is a politician, and that politician holds a freedom of speech and expression. So
Yes, sir.
can his speeches be unhindered and can it be devoid of complete morality? Or is there an exception of morality on the freedom of speech and expression? Please tell.
Sorry, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, there are exceptions under Article 19.2 to 19.1a, right, which is given there. No freedom is without any restriction. Also, sir, if you may permit, I remembered one more exception. That is Article 25. Uh, that is right to freedom of religion. There are also an exception to morality is there.
Okay, perfect. Can we go ahead and ask questions around the criminal laws as well, if you are comfortable with them, or any specific criminal law that you are comfortable with?
So, right now, I haven't revised all the laws. You may ask accordingly.
Okay,
Like,
okay,
there's no specific choice.
okay, okay, okay. Let's say there is a person who has stolen certain fruits from somebody else's garden. Okay, this is which
Yes.
offense?
So theft.
This is theft. Okay. And let's say the person entered into the premise or the garden of that other person, and he just saw a tree, and he wanted to take a branch of that tree, but when he had cut down the branch fell on the ground, and the owner got to know about this. He came running, and the offender had to run away. Which offense, if any, has been committed?
So when he entered that ground without any permission, that is unlawfully. So he has committed criminal trespass. The moment he has broken the branch, that became movable property. So the theft is committed.
Okay, okay. But he was not able to take the branch out of the possession of that person. He is still that is theft.
Yes, sir. Sir, explanation one, I guess, if I'm not wrong, of section 378 lays down that as soon as that thing is severed, so as to be taken away from any property, if it's a immovable property also, then the theft is committed the moment if it's severed.
Okay, okay. What exactly is the fundamental difference? Just the fundamental difference between culpable homicide and murder.
So the fundamental difference is that the amount of degree which is present there, it's different. For in murder, it has to be the intention should be clear that murder will be committed. So chances are high that in all circumstances it will be committed. And in culpable homicide, sir, it is not that certain that death of the person will arise or not.
Okay, okay. And what about attempt to murder? Where is it provided?
So attempt to murder is provided under section 307 of IPC
30?
7.
Are you sure it is 307 and not 309 of IPC?
So 309 is about committing suicide, I guess.
Are you sure about it?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Please do check it.
I'll
Where
read
is
it about
where
it, sir.
is attempt to suicide provided? Not a problem. Attempt to abetment of suicide and attempt to murder. Where is this provided? Do check it out. Okay. Next question would be what is your idea or what is your understanding about the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company?
Sir, it is a case regarding torts under which um, an insect was found in the car. So sorry, sir. Sir, sir, so sorry. If you may permit, I may start again this answer.
Please.
So, accordingly, in which there was a pharmaceutical company which gave advertisements in newspapers that whoever will take these medicines will not be affected by a particular disease. So, there was a woman who, based upon the advertisement, took those medicines, and then also she suffered from that particular disease which was promised in the advertisement. So, based upon the advertisement, she approached the company for the amount which was there in the advertisement, claiming that if at all after consuming those medicines also somebody suffers from disease, we will give that to that person this particular amount of sum. So sir, in this case it was the question arose whether a contract may arise without even replying, without even proper acceptance to that contract. So, sir, it was held that when a advertisement was there, and as soon as the lady started consuming that medicine, and implied acceptance arose the very moment. So, there was a contract between both of them, and the company was held liable to pay the compensation.
Okay. Okay. What about the concept of res subjudice? What exactly is the concept of res subjudice?
So, if we talk about section number, section 10 of the Civil Procedure Code deals with res subjudice. It states that no court shall proceed for a trial of any matter in which matter in issue is same as that of any other matter which is already pending in another court between the same parties or the parties litigating under the same title.
Okay. So, and what is the difference between res sub judice and res judicata?
Sir, when a matter is pending in any court, then res sub judice will apply, and when that matter has been decided, then res judicata will apply. In one circuit, it will only bar the trial of that suit, but whereas under Section 11, the suit itself will not be instituted. Also, sir, if we talk about Section 10, the former suit is the one which has been instituted first in point of time. And when we talk about Section 11, the former suit in this case will be the one which was decided first in point of time.
Okay, okay, fair enough. So these were the difference between the two. Now, when we look at the complete syllabus of MP civil judge examination, what exactly is the doctrine of election as we find it under the Transfer of Property Act?
So, Section 35 of Transfer of Property Act deals with doctrine of election. So, whenever a transferor has transferred any property to another person which does not belong to him, the owner of the property is left with a choice to either continue with that transaction in consideration to any other thing which has been promised to him by the transferor, or he may elect to not to do so.
Okay, fair enough. So person who gets the benefit must bear the burden. That is the concept.
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. Good job, Swati. Good job. You've done a great job. That's a good work.